All right, welcome back. I have my guests right now. Like I said earlier, we will be zeroing in on the insurance companies. NICOM, the apex regulator for the insurance industry, did revoke certificates of registration of Niger Insurance as well as Standard Alliance Insurance. My guest is with me right now, Ekerete Ola Gam-Ikon, who is an insurance expert. Welcome to you and thanks for joining me on the show today.
Thank you so much, Nancy. It's good, nice to be here.
Let's get started. The revocation of the certificate of registrations of these two insurance companies for unethical conduct. That's what was reported. You're looking at me like that.
Yeah,
Okay. Tell me what it means. What happened?
Because, I mean, that sounds like a new reason.
Oh, okay.
Because the National Insurance Commission actually did not state clearly a reason, in their statement. And so a lot of questions came up to understand why they took that step. And it was basically because, I mean, following the story of these two companies, one knew that it was a matter of time. The challenges had been there, especially from a policyholder's point of view. The challenges had been there. I mean, you had policyholders who were waiting for payment 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. It's not how insurance is done, And so the regulator had to move in. Because incidentally, some people argue that, hey, these companies have assets worth more than the liabilities, and so they were in a position that they could pay. But these assets are buildings that they have also been trying to find buyers for in a number of years. And this was not getting good.
So is it because that these insurance companies could not pay claimants, could not pay policy holders? Is that why NICOM revoked their certificates of registration? And I asked you earlier, what does it mean? Does it mean that these two insurance companies cease to exist? Or what really does it mean?
Okay, so the certificate of registration is owned by NICOM. So NICOM gives you the certificate to operate. And so
like a license?
Yes, the license.
License?
Yes.
Just like CBN gives banks licenses to operate?
Absolutely. And so if you are not handling it in line with the guidelines, the regulations, and everything, the law prescribes what needs to be done. So talking about whether they were not able to pay claims, yes, they were not able to honor their claims obligations. And I also know that one of them was owing their staff salaries for over 15 months. So these things point to financial stress, and it can't continue for a number of different years. And when this is going to happen, the public will not know. Somebody may still have walked into the company a week before this was announced to take up a policy.
Yeah. And
they will sell. Because they probably believe that, we will resolve the issues. So when the license has been withdrawn, like it has happened now, it means they cannot do business anymore. And of course you understand what it means.
So they cannot do business anymore. They can't open their shops anymore. It's like they are down.
No, they can't, because a receiver has been appointed.
Yes.
A liquidator. Receiver has been appointed. So he takes over, and from that point, he's trying to get money out of that process. One, to pay the claimants. And secondly, there are some existing policies, especially because both companies do live business. Mm-hmm. So the receiver, liquidator, now needs to find another company that will take over those policies, and of course that will go at a cost, because it's going to be such that the company will be in a position to be able to handle those things going forward for those policyholders.
I like the way we're breaking it down, and what you said earlier about license from NICOM to the companies, because if you take a look at certificate of registration, are there two certificates of registration? Because we also know that CAC, for example, gives any company that wants to operate in Nigeria a certificate of registration. You would have certificate of incorporation, an RC number. Okay, yeah. I think you've answered it now. Yes, because that was a bit I needed to get out of the way. So the CAC will give a certificate of incorporation, which will carry an RC number, but the certificate of registration comes from NICOM.
Yes.
Which is like a license.
Yes, and don't forget, especially these days, when you go to CAC to get certificate of incorporation, you've got to be specific what kind of business.
Business it is.
And so for insurance, for example, they will liaise with NICOM in giving you that certificate. So that certificate you're getting is strictly for insurance business. So once it's withdrawn, you therefore cannot function.
Okay, the question now is what will happen to policyholders? I know that liquidators are on now. So what will happen to policyholders? Should there be a cause for alarm?
No, what will happen is, like I mentioned earlier, for existing life policies, another insurance company will be approached by the receiver liquidator to negotiate with them to take these ones over.
Okay.
Because they're still running. And if there are other policyholders, maybe for general business and all of that, if, for example, you had just taken a motor policy and it's meant to run for 1 year, so you can decide that, okay, this ends here, and decide to also pay back the balance that ought to have been for the remaining part of the year to the guy. At the same time also, it's really that, I mean, one will want to get his money and get out of that situation.
Okay, these two companies are also listed on the NGX,
yes,
the Nigerian Stock Exchange.
Yes.
What happens to them? Because I know sometime in 2021, Niger Insurance was placed on suspension.
They've been placed on suspension this year again.
They were placed, yes, they were placed on suspension in 2021. They lifted the suspension in February 2022. That's Niger Insurance.
This year.
Yes. What happens to them right now? That, of course, that these companies are in charge of, liquidators are in charge of them.
Okay. The thing is, the NGX will also respond to what has happened by suspending trade on the stocks of this company. All right? That's from their own end. And wait for, the tidying up of the papers with the receiver and liquidator, and there you go. Niger Insurance is gone. Believe me, every shareholder gets nothing out of these two companies as we speak.
Yeah, because I was also coming to that. The shareholders, because there are shareholders that buy shares on those stocks every day.
The company has been in
limbo for a while.
Yeah, well, limbo is just to describe it. But, as it is, even if the liquidator is able to find someone to buy, even if the liquidator is able to find someone to buy the properties of this company, and of course, as you would expect, if the company was still licensed and was going to sell the stock of the company, sorry, the assets, properties of the company, the price at which that will happen will not be the same as what it will be now, because now it's going to be forced sale.
Wow.
And depending on the liquidator, receiver, he just wants to do this and do this very quickly. He doesn't want to, stay on it for longer than necessary.
You know what came to my mind now, because the shareholders will also bear the brunt in all of this.
Of course,
yes, of course,
yeah.
yes. Talking about also the confidence in the capital market. That's like if a company goes down now, what happens? And I don't know why this did not cause so much furore. Unlike what I said earlier, that if it's the banks, for example, that CBN just hammered two banks, took it over, which we've seen at least in the last few years. Bring up a bridge bank and all of that. It will make news, everybody. But this one is just a few of us that understand the industry, and
that's that banking is more popular than insurance
in Nigeria.
In Nigeria, and in so many other countries. Banking is more popular than insurance. However, we know that those that understand insurance and have used insurance get more value from insurance than banking. Tell me, you open an account in a bank, you put money there, your money is part of the money that is used to do everything.
For their business.
And then sometimes you are complaining about the fact that your money is reducing. If you put 5,000 down, you want 5,000 back, you get 4,980. Now for insurance, you have an insurance policy that says to you, when something goes wrong, it will be available. Your car has been stolen. Your car is replaced with an amount that can get you another of such a car. Your house is valued, you've insured it. So people are just getting to understand some of these things, because we've lived in the past where people believe that insurance does not pay claims. And so there's no need.
Yeah. But is it getting better now?
Oh yes, it's getting better, Nancy.
How much is it getting better?
Okay, so this is what it is. Every year.
Because if you look at these two companies, they've been there for a while.
Oh yes.
I think Niger Insurance, whether 19, 60-something, if I'm not mistaken. It's been on for a while. So if you can have this kind of situation in a company like a Niger Insurance, what does it say also for the industry?
You know, don't forget that we've had the older companies seemingly disappearing. You remember that Unique also suffered this fate. Do you know where Nikon Insurance is today? You know, so you just find out that a number of the companies that have been there and have produced professionals for the industry and all of that, you know, seem not to be, you know, doing well. And my only explanation for that is that digitalization dealt with them. Let's put it that way. Because somehow, somehow, you know, the people that are there are unable to renew themselves and catch up with the dynamics of the economy of the system and all of that, you know. And you can't continue to manage a company because you have a traditional name. You believe that your name is big, and people will, oh, Niger Insurance is big by all means. I mean, you go to every city in Nigeria has a blue building, and when you look, it's Niger Insurance. So for some of us, you know, it's painful. But let's not allow how we feel to then affect the public more than us. Okay. Because some people that had put the money, had bought policies from these companies, you know, and you can imagine yourself paying 40,000 naira every month for 10 years because you are doing a life policy. Yeah. At the end of 10 years, you now go to collect your money. And then you sign the paper, they sign for you also, and say your money will be paid. Your money will be paid should not take more than 2 minutes. But it's taking 2 years.
Okay, are some of these things that you're talking about, are they currently existing in existing insurance companies now? Because a lot of people still come up to say, oh, okay, I'm doing or I'm paying every month, you know, and when it comes for me to claim, I don't. So some of those underlying factors that have making or that have made Niger Insurance and Standard Alliance Insurance to not really go under because they are in the hands of liquidators now. Perhaps someone will buy them over later. May still currently be existing in the existing insurance companies.
That's correct.
So what should be done?
I'm sure
On the part of the professionals, that's the players, and on the part of NICOM as a regulator. I'm
sure that, of course, the regulator continues to look at different companies at different times, what they are doing, and if they have financial challenges, what are they doing to address those challenges and all of that. Don't forget, Nancy, that last year, the Nigerian Insurance Association suspended 3 companies and finally expelled them for not being able to honor claims obligations. There were 3 companies. 2 of them have now had their licenses withdrawn by the regulator. Are you getting me? So when you say, are they such companies? Yes, they are.
So how would the public know now? That's the thing.
Now, for
so
me,
that you don't continue to.
For me, the thing I keep saying in my advocacy work, you know, is that since you will not just walk into any bank and open an account, why would you go to any insurance company and start a policy?
No, but the way
people get policies.
With the 25 banks or even more than that, anybody can walk into a bank now
and
open an account.
Agreed.
Without
now,
even thinking, batting an eyelid.
Agreed. Now, that is what we are also trying to achieve with the insurance industry.
Companies.
But we are encouraging people. Don't do insurance because somebody has been coming to your office every day and you see that what it will require me to do is only 20,000 naira. And you say, I can afford it, and then start giving the person 20,000 naira. This person is just an agent.
Yeah.
And so he moves from being an agent, 3-6 months down the line, he leaves that job to another job. And you say, oh, come and collect my money. I'm no longer in that company. You don't know anything about the company. You don't know anybody.
So you need to do due diligence.
Absolutely.
Okay, as we close, have you heard anything about the capitalization? Because I know that they dodge distances.
No, that's you know that the official position is that it was suspended because of the court injunction. So what else do you want?
Well, I spoke with the Commissioner for Insurance, I think last year or so. He did also mention this part. Yeah. You know, isn't it a dodgy way of like, and I guess the players would also be a bit happy that is also hanging, because some of these companies also need to be financially adequate?
Okay, so let me tell you what has happened since recapitalization. I mean, based on my understanding, a number of companies were ready for that recapitalization and were ready to see it get to the end. And so they were working towards it and never stopped. So there are a number of companies that have gotten more than what the regulator asked for right now as we speak. Okay? And there are also other companies who know that, look, the business of insurance is not child's play. If you want to be in that business, you've got to have money. And now that's why the regulator is not interested in your buildings anymore. He's saying, as much as possible, have money in the form that is very close to cash.
Liquid.
So when something goes wrong, you pay. And I'll tell you, if you look at the industry, the first 5 companies, I mean, ranking by way of turnover, hold 56% of the market.
Yeah.
And so you begin to look at that and say, do we really need all this number of companies? Yes, until last year I was arguing that we need more insurance companies, but I think we need more of micro insurance companies that can relate with people and people can afford their products and all of that. Not the big players.
The big players can take care of the big businesses.
Precisely.
Then the micro insurers, from your own analysis, will take care of the average Nigerian.
The people, yeah.
That insurance penetration is not that hard, is not yet accepted.
Yeah.
So they'll be able to convince them. So I see a logic there. Any other thing you want to say before we go?
Okay, so what I want to say is just encourage Nigerians to see what has happened right now as creating opportunity for the good companies to have more space to relate with them. So you can go out and find out about the good insurance companies and do that business and, you have your life in a better position.
Okay. So that's the much you can take on today's edition of the program. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming. I've been speaking with Ekerete Ola Gam-Ikon, an insurance expert, and we've been zeroing in on Niger Insurance and Standard Alliance Insurance, that their certificates of registrations have been revoked by NICOM. All right, I'll see you all again tomorrow. God willing, be the best you can be and be the change that you want to see. I am Nancy Naji. Bye now.